Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch. We are a week into the Guilds of Ravnica previews, and as you can imagine, there are some impacts from the reveals we saw this week. Notably, one card in particular has upended the modern market, and that is Assassin's Trophy. We're going to look at the impact that card has had, as well as a whole lot of other stuff today. So quickly before we get into it, just a fast reminder, if you check out the description below, you'll find a few ways to help support what we do here at the channel. Our Patreon page is linked to down below. You're also going to find links to products on Amazon. If you make any purchases on Amazon, once you go through that link, no matter what it is, we'll get a small percentage for the channel. Finally, Flipside Gaming still offering a promo code for our viewers. Hopefully you can save some cash while you support us. As always, thank you not only to the folks that look at those links, but to all the viewers. Y'all make the channel what it is, but let's get into it. We're going to begin, as we always do, with the top 5 standard legal cards that have lost value this week. However, this week I do have one honorable mention before we get to our top 5. And that's the Immortal Sun. It's down 49 cents to $12.36. It's not rotating out of standard. It is a very good commander card, as a matter of fact. So if you're a commander player, and you've been waiting for this card to go down a little bit, it is softening up, at least temporarily. Now, one thing I will point out about the card, traditionally it hasn't been great in standard. It shows up here or there, sometimes a 1 of or 2 of in certain decks. I remember the vampire decks were trying to use it and such. But the 6 casting cost can be difficult to swing and still feel like it's really efficient for you. But things are changing. Rotation's happening. We're losing a whole lot of cards out of the pool. We're gaining Guilds of Ravnica, and a couple of these abilities actually do make sense with some of the strategies there. Spells costing 1 less could make sense with what Izz's trying to do. Obviously, creatures getting +1/+1 could make sense for the revival of perhaps the Knight deck, or else just other Selesnya token strategies or something like that that could come out of Guilds potentially. So this is one to watch. I'd keep an eye on this card. Number 5 is Ajani, Adversary of Tyrants, down 57 cents to $10. Here's another one that's going down that still has potential to be better post-rotation. This has been in the Knights decks, and they haven't really taken off in the way a lot of people were hoping. But post-rotation, Knights are getting more tools, and of course, with other things leaving, that deck just simply could be getting better. So I'm a little surprised to see this dipping as much as it is. This is another one you want to keep an eye on and just see what happens post-rotation. Number 4, Ronas the Indomitable, down 59 cents to $11.02. This one surprises me too, but in a different way. I'm just surprised this hasn't already dropped a little more. Granted, it was seeing a little standard play this time around, but most of the other cards have dropped to the point where they're reaching their rock bottom prices already. This one's just lagging behind a little bit. And it's not like it sees a ton of modern play or anything. You'll find it in a deck here or there, like as a 1 of, but it's not doing a whole lot. Definitely not worth $11. It does see some commander play, though. It is a decent commander card, but this will be dropping some more in the coming weeks. Number 3, Nicol Bolas the Ravager, down 75 cents to $29.22. This is a tough card. I do think it goes down more right now in the current meta. The Grixis mid-range decks are running this, but the Dragon decks kind of fell off. Can the Dragon decks make a comeback in the next meta? That remains to be seen. I'm not really sure if it will happen or not. If it does, this card could stabilize, but still $30 is a high price point for this. It's going to come down quite a bit. Even if it does do well in the next meta, I don't see it staying a $30 card at all. Number 2 is Air Elemental, down 96 cents to 99 cents. Now, this is the Magic 2019 version. We talked about this card last week because it spiked. Well, now it's going back down. This can only be found in the Magic 2019 Welcome deck, the blue one that you would pick up at your game store if you're a new player. Those are free to new players. But because of that, there's not a lot of people breaking those decks up and selling singles online. And it has caused a little bit of a fever among collectors of some oddities. And these cards have gotten hot. Well, this one is being reprinted in this exact same form in the Magic Game Night product, which comes out a little bit later in the fall. And there's going to be 2 copies in that product. So there's going to be a lot of ways to get this card, and it is dropping. It's going to drop more. Nexus of Fate is coming in at number 1, and this is down $1.88 this week to $25.22. I said this last week. I think everyone's just kind of waiting to see what happens with this one. I don't know if people want to run out and buy these for $25, but I don't know if a lot of people want to sell them either. They're a little nervous about having to pay a premium later on if this card does do better post-rotation. The Turbo Fog deck has been doing good. It hasn't taken the world by storm or anything, but it can put up some really good results. Not clear as to what's going to happen post-rotation, though, as everything's about to change. All right, let's look at the top 5 standard legal cards that have gained value this week, but 2 honorable mentions this time. The first one is Vraska Relic Seeker. This is up 36 cents to $8.99, and it's not going up much, but it's an indicator that people are thinking about Golgari going forward, especially because of Assassin's Trophy, as you probably guessed. And there's also another Vraska coming out that actually looks pretty decent. So will this card fit into a Golgari build in Standard? Well, that remains to be seen, but right now people are at least thinking about it. History of Benalia. This is our other honorable mention of 39 cents to $10.99. This has been a key card out of sideboards in many of the popular control builds. This is also a key card, obviously, in the Knights deck. Now, the Knights deck, a lot of people overlook it, but it is very solid. I mean, it doesn't put up the huge top 8s in the big tournaments this season necessarily, at least in recent weeks, but it can creep into maybe top 10, and actually one finished in 10th place in a big tournament just a few weeks ago. So I do think that this is a deck to watch because a lot of the cards, actually most of the key cards, are sticking around post-rotation, and we're getting more support for Knights in Guilds of Ravnica. I think this card could actually spike within the next few weeks. Silverbeak Griffin, up 40 cents to 64 cents. All right, here's another one of those cards that is not in the Magic 2019 set. But this one is sort of odd because, yes, you can find a copy in the White Welcome deck, but there's also 4 copies in the White Planeswalker deck, which those are definitely not hard to find. Really, the Welcome decks aren't either. It's just a matter of they're hard to find online. Again, somebody probably just posted a bunch of these at a higher price, and that's why it's going up this week. This is another one you don't want to spend too much money on. Walking Ballistas at number 4, up 41 cents to $13.13. A card that's rotating out, but yet going up in value. Yep, that's because Walking Ballista is amazing in a million formats now. Shops decks and Vintage, you're going to find this in so many decks in Modern. The Heart and Scales Affinity deck, the Mono Green Tron decks, those are both really popular right now. The Vengevine deck, another popular one. You'll also find this sometimes in Legacy Miracles, 1 or 2 of it out of the sideboard. The thing's all over the place. It's not going to be going down. This hit its rock bottom price a few weeks ago, and from this point forward, it's going to slowly be climbing. Number 3, Carnage Tyrant at 41 cents to $18.99. This card hasn't seen a ton of play recently, a little bit in the Constrictor deck side of the board sometimes, but a lot of people are speculating green will get better post-rotation, and I think that is actually true. This card will see more play within a few weeks than it does now. Number 2, here we go again. Mistcloaked Herald, up 62 cents to $3.22. This is the Magic 2019 version, and this can only be found in the Blue Welcome deck, yes. But don't spend this. This is crazy. $3.22 for a Mistcloaked Herald. I say it every week. If you enjoy collecting these type of cards, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let anyone tell you there is. Enjoy the game the way you want to enjoy the game, but don't spend $3, $4 on this. Wait a few weeks. When Guilds of Ravnica comes out, everyone's going to be moving on to the next thing, and these will go down in value. Number 1, Search for Azcanta, up $1.19 to $21.84, and this card performed very well in GP Richmond a week ago in that Miracles deck, and that's why it got hot, and it remains hot this week. Don't get me wrong, it's still very good in Standard, and will be post-rotation as well. It's great in Control builds, it's awesome in Modern Control builds as well. This card will remain pretty hot going forward, although I do think it will stabilize soon as we move farther away from that big Legacy event. Alright, let's move on to Modern, with the top 5 Modern legal cards that have lost value this week. Number 5, Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre, down $3.29 to $26.40. This is the Rise of the Eldrazi version. This card went up last week, and it surprised me a little bit because it is a cool Commander card, but outside of Commander, it's not doing a whole lot. The decks that used to run this in Modern are now using the Ceaseless Hunger instead, so it was a weird anomaly. It comes back down this week. Number 4, Jace the Mind Sculptor, the original Worldwake version, down $3.34 to $95. We saw all the Jaces go up last week on the heels of the Miracle deck performing well at GP Richmond, coming in 1st and 3rd place. This week, they're starting to stabilize back down again. This one is leading the way, though. Number 3, Engineered Explosives from 5th Dawn, down $3.78 to $91.19. Now, this one in the Modern Masters version have been so hot recently. They're key cards in the Ironworks combo deck in Modern, not to mention all the sideboard play they see in Modern and Legacy. But because they got so hot and they went up so quickly, it was time for them to normalize a little bit. That's what we've been seeing over the last couple weeks. I don't think this goes down a whole lot more. It probably stabilizes close to $90. Number 2, Crucible of Worlds from 10th edition, down $4.66 to $28.84. Takes a pretty big dip this week again, and this and the original version obviously have been soft since the reprinting of Magic 2019. I do think this could go down maybe just a little more, but it will most likely stabilize once Guilds of Ravnica comes out and people start moving on to the next thing and leaving Magic 2019 completely behind. Still a good casual card, fantastic upgrade if you picked up the Nature's Vengeance Commander 2018 deck, as a matter of fact, and this still sees play in numerous competitive decks too. So keep an eye on this one. You might be able to get it at its cheapest price in just a few weeks. Number 1 is Wound Reflection, down $6.17 to $24.99. This card got super hot recently due to the Commander 2018 decks. A lot of folks were picking this up as an upgrade to the Subjective Reality deck, the Esper one. It worked well with some cards in there, including Sower of Discord, but many other people were picking it up due to Xantia, who was in the Nature's Vengeance deck, but a lot of folks were just pulling her out of that deck and building around her as a commander, and those decks usually focused on attrition, trying to hit all your opponents at once, and cards like this were very helpful there. Now that some time has passed, this card is starting to move back down a little bit, but it's not going to go back down to where it was before the spike. Alright, let's move on to the top 5 modern legal cards that have gained value this week. This section is easy for me this week. I can evaluate all 5 of these cards just by saying one thing. Assassin's Trophy. Yup, all 5 of these cards are going up because of that reveal from a few days ago. When that card was revealed, I'll tell you, the market lit up. A lot of speculators thinking about what cards are going to get better, what decks are going to get better. And not only did players start picking them up, but also folks that are trying to maybe resell started picking them up too. So you can imagine you're going to see some pretty big spikes here for cards that belong to the Jund deck, the Abzan deck, the Golgari mid-range deck. All decks in Modern that could benefit from this new card coming out. Number 5, Blackcleave Cliffs, part of the Jund mana base, up $1.67 to $49.72. Number 4, Marsh Flats from Modern Masters 2017, part of the Abzan mana base, up $1.88 to $43.62. Number 3, and yes, the top 3 will be the Jund band getting back together again, with Liliana of the Veil leading the pack, Modern Masters 2017 up $1.56 to $92.57, Innistrad going up $3.03 to $98.03. Number 2, Tarmogoyf, couple versions here, Modern Masters 2017 climbing $3.04 to $71.05, Modern Masters 2015 going up $4.41 to $74.77. And number 1, believe it or not, Dark Confidant. Bob is back on top. After weeks of losing value, how many weeks have we said, well, he's not in the Humans deck anymore and the Jund deck's inconsistent? Well, it's a big bounce back week for Bob. Modern Masters up $2.34 to $59.84. Modern Masters 2015 up $4.32 to $64.29. Ravnica City of Guilds up $7.04 to $70.99. Wow. So huge impact from Assassin's Trophy this week. All right, let's move on to our vintage spotlights, and we'll look at a couple cards first that actually are going up due to legacy play, and then we'll also look at some of the buyouts. We'll start with Dread of Night from 6th edition, up $1.55 to $3.70. This is seeing increased play and legacy out of sideboards due to the fact that Death and Taxes is more and more prevalent, partially because it's a relatively quote-unquote affordable legacy deck to play that's very competitive still. And also, Rashad Import was reprinted not too long ago. That got more people interested in playing because of the price break there. And with the Banned and Restricted List update not too long ago, the deck got positioned better as well. So with all that going on, as you could imagine, a lot of people are looking to sideboard against it, and that's where Dread of Night comes in. Back to Basics, up $2.46 to $69.06. This did well at GP Richmond, not only in the Miracles deck, but also in Stoneblade. So this card is going to see a lot of play going forward in Legacy, I have no doubt. It is not on the reserve list, though, but it has never been reprinted. All right, let's move on to some old school cards with Ruck Egg from Arabian Nights. This is not on the reserve list, but it has been reprinted if you're looking for a cheaper copy. However, those original Arabian Nights cards are very, very sought after right now. If you're not familiar with Arabian Nights, they have an A and B version, is what a lot of collectors call it. The B version, you'll notice the generic mana cost looks a little bit darker. Sometimes it's really hard to read, as a matter of fact. There's not really much of a difference in print run or anything like that, or usually value, but there are some different price points here, so I put them both up. The Arabian Nights B version going up $11 to $27.50, with the A version going up $15.66 to $28.50 this week. Brain Geyser up $26.87 to $91.73 from Unlimited. Again, a couple Unlimited cards still very hot right now. This one is on the reserve list, and it has been reprinted, though, and revised if you're looking for a cheaper copy. And same old story here. I think a lot of stores are just more interested in dealing in Unlimited right now over Alpha and Beta, and there's just more focus on those cards. Finally, one more unlimited card copy artifact of 3660 to 176.49. Same story as the last card. It is on the reserve list, but it did get reprinted and revised. Commander Spotlight time. Alright, what's going on in Commander? Greater Aromancy's back again, up $1.27 to 43.23. This is a big upgrade for the Commander 2018 Adaptive Enchantment deck. A lot of people have been picking this one up recently. Here's another upgrade for that same deck, Privileged Position, up $1.40 to 28.49. And this was also featured in a deck tech from Saffron Olive about a week ago on MTG Goldfish, so that brought a little attention to this as well, I have no doubt. Fairy Artisans, up $1.75 to 10.40 now. This is from Commander 2016. It's never been reprinted. It's a good upgrade, actually, for a couple of these Commander 2018 decks, the Subjective Reality deck, as well as the Exquisite Invention deck. And of course, it saw playing Commander prior to that, too, in other places. Raga of Kirkheap, up $3.87 to 37.47. And no, that wasn't Klingon. That is the name of this Reserve List Legends card that's gotten pretty hot recently, not only because it's a Reserve List Legends card, but because recently Mark Rosewater actually mentioned in an online poll the Kobolds. So that made people think maybe he's considering bringing them back or designing them into an upcoming set. So some of these older cards that are focused around that tribe have been going up a little bit. These are cards you want to keep an eye on. Phyrexian Dreadnought, up $19.18 to $45. This one is on the reserve list as well, but it did get a Judge promo printing at one point. Now, the reason this is so hot this week is because of Lazav, which was spoiled a few days ago from Guilds of Ravnica. Combos extremely well with this card in Commander, but potentially even in Legacy and Vintage as people are thinking about brews. I threw this under the Commander list this week because I do think some people in Commander are definitely going to be trying to pull this off, but this could have some legs outside of that format as well. Here's that Judge promo as well. Typically, I don't talk too much about promo cards on here because it's hard to truly track them online. There's not usually enough data points. But regardless of specifics, this is definitely spiking, going up 42.02 this week to 124.48. Angus McKenzie, up 25.11 to 259, another Reserve List Legends card here. And this is an awesome Pillow Fort card. I don't necessarily think a lot of people are buying this up to play in Pillow Fort. This is more of a card that collectors have been picking up recently. But this is a cool Commander card, and whenever it goes up at least substantially, I like to point it out. This is one of those cards, unfortunately, is not really going to go down much anymore at this point. It's just going to keep going up. Alright, with that being said, that is our market watch for this week. Not a whole lot going on in Pauper for a second week in a row. I'll keep an eye on it, though, for the future. But until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.